In my previous life, my sister-in-law, Clara Liu, was utterly consumed by novels, particularly the stalker and captivity genre. She had no regard for our family, spending every month's money on makeup and an endless supply of revealing clothes. She'd deliberately arch her back when picking things up, and even when drinking water, she'd let drops trickle into her collar. I repeatedly tried to tell her to value herself, to understand that real life isn't a novel and stalkers are nothing but twisted perverts. But she accused me of standing in her way, claiming I was jealous of her imminent wealthy life. Yet, for her own safety, I always went with her when she went out. But when we finally encountered that pervert, she pushed me towards him, leaving me to be tortured to death in a dark basement. Meanwhile, she feigned unbearable grief, crying in my brother's arms, blaming him for not keeping me in line. Now, with a second chance at life, I will stand by, watching coldly as my sister-in-law falls into a bottomless abyss. Girls, I've finally found my destined soulmate. Today he secretly followed me and even slipped a note into my bag. It says, "My sweet Chloe, you smell so good. Wear pink today, okay?" My sister-in-law's best friend's voice chirped through the phone. "Congratulations, girl." He even called Chloe sweet Chloe. He must be completely in love. Just like in my previous life, as I passed my sister-in-law Clara Liu's room, I heard her on the phone. I never imagined she was secretly involved with a perverted stalker behind my brother's back. In my past life, when I heard those absurd words, I was so frightened I immediately burst into her room, interrupting her. "Sister-in-law, how can a stalker possibly be a good person? And is this fair to my brother?" Clara saw me enter, her eyes filled with nothing but disgust. She hung up and snapped, "Are you trying to eavesdrop, kid? Since when is my business any of your concern?" I suppressed my anger and reasoned, "Sister-in-law, real life isn't a novel. Stalkers can kill people. Besides, my brother treats you so well. Wouldn't it be better if you two just lived a peaceful life?" Clara rolled her eyes and sneered, "Me, marry a poor man like your brother? He's just a temporary stepping stone for me. Meeting me is asterisk his asterisk luck. Don't you two even dream of stopping me from finding a rich, handsome man?" She pushed me out of the room in disgust and slammed the door shut. After much thought, I still didn't tell my brother. I just thought I'd wait for him to return from his business trip, hoping a heartfelt conversation might change her mind. For Clara's safety, I always kept an eye on her, even if it meant enduring her scornful looks and taunts. Finally, the day before my brother's return, Clara encountered that pervert in a dark, gloomy alley. When she realized he was foul-smelling, pimply-faced, and bald, definitely not the rich, handsome man she fantasized about, she panicked, desperately trying to break free from his grasp. Without thinking, I rushed forward and delivered a powerful kick to the man. Clara seized the opportunity to escape, but she pushed me towards him before running off without a backward glance. He dragged me to his basement, where I endured every torture imaginable, dying a miserable death in that damp, moldy place. Perhaps it was the immense injustice, but heaven granted me a chance to start over. In this life, all I want is for my sister-in-law to receive her just deserts, to die with no place to be buried. I immediately realized I had been reincarnated. My first reflex was to turn and leave. A while later, Clara came out of her room and saw me drinking water in the living room. "Emily Shen," she probed, "when did you come out? Did you hear anything?" "No, I didn't," I feigned ignorance. "Is something wrong?" "Really?" Clara eyed me suspiciously from head to toe. I was on guard but managed a strained smile. "Sister-in-law, I really don't know anything." "You don't believe me." She said nothing more and went back to her room. Lying in bed, I recalled my previous life. After I discovered her intention to betray my brother, Clara constantly threatened and instigated me, making my life utterly miserable. She'd pretend to be pitiful and call my brother. "Andrew, I can't stay in this house anymore. Every day I try to win Emily over, but she always makes things difficult for me. I cook for her, take care of her, but she calls me fake. Even when I buy a few clothes, she mocks me, saying I'm just wasting your money. Yet, whenever my brother called to ask, she'd act patient and forgiving. Don't blame Emily, darling. Perhaps I haven't done enough. Don't ask her anymore. I believe Emily didn't mean it." But when facing me, it was a different story. She'd threaten me not to reveal her secrets, or she'd withhold my college tuition money. "I'm also reading that stalker novel," Clara probed. "Emily, you like this novel too." I forced down my disgust and said, "Yes, I do. Don't you think the perverted CEO in the story is so romantic, sister-in-law?" Clara's eyes immediately lit up as if she'd found a kindred spirit. Exactly, exactly. A destined soulmate like that, anyone who meets him is truly blessed. Inside, I rolled my eyes so hard they almost popped out. Only an idiot like you would consider that a blessing. But on the outside, I smiled and said, "That's right. Only a great beauty like you, sister-in-law, deserves such things. As for me, I probably won't have such an opportunity." Clara laughed smugly. "It's good that you know your place. Now, take good care of me." She shot me a contemptuous look. "Anyway, an ugly duckling like you shouldn't hope for such a chance in this lifetime. If I meet a CEO like that, I might even take pity on you and let you have a little of my leftover soup." As she spoke, Clara fiddled with her phone and sent me an account. "This is a group I created on Tushu, full of fans of this story. Join now." I nodded in agreement. It seemed Clara was no longer wary of me. The group name was The Stalker CEO Who Loves Me to Death. I never imagined so many sick people like my sister-in-law existed. It turned out that after becoming infatuated with stalker novels, Clara created this group, believing herself destined to capture a stalker CEO. Every day, the group discussed the story, praising and fantasizing about stalker love. Initially, Clara was just one of those delusional girls. Until yesterday, when she posted a video of herself kissing a mysterious note, which instantly made her the center of attention in the group. In the video, Clara looked exactly like a happily married woman. "Finally, he's noticed me. He said I smell so good, and he even sniffed the paper. I'm going to die loving him. My happy life is about to begin." The entire group erupted. "Girls, you're so lucky. Just looking at the note, you can tell he's the cold, aloof, forbidden type of male lead. Being stalked by a CEO like that, just thinking about it is thrilling. It's like a novel come to life." A few people in the group did remind Clara to be careful and protect herself, but she tore them apart. "Can't stand to see me living well, can you? Just admit you're jealous. A bunch of old-fashioned Qing dynasty relics. What do you Qing people even know?" I almost couldn't hold back from snapping back, but if my sister-in-law loved being flattered so much, I would flatter her to her grave. I posted several articles from accounts that glorified happy endings with stalkers into the group. "Everyone look, there are many real-life cases like this. Sister-in-law, you will definitely succeed." Just thinking about Clara's impending tragic fate, I couldn't help but chuckle. A few days later, my brother's salary was transferred to his account on time. Clara immediately took the money and headed straight to the mall. While she was out, I contacted a prearranged handyman to install surveillance cameras. In my previous life, that perverted stalker had found his way to our doorstep. Seeing my sister-in-law, he deliberately placed a spare key on a milk carton. The next day, he waited for her to leave for work, then snuck into the house. He mistook my room for my sister-in-law's, lay on my bed, and left a strange liquid stain on my underwear. As soon as he left, I came home. The stale sweat smell in the room and the disgusting traces made me want to vomit. Luckily, I wasn't home that day. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. This time, I would definitely not let that disgusting incident happen again. I installed cameras in all the rooms so I could monitor the situation between Clara and the stalker, even after I left. Before dinner, Clara returned home, carrying large and small bags, all filled with extremely revealing dresses and makeup. She shot me a glare when she saw me looking at her shopping bags. "What are you staring at? Don't even think about getting anything from me. It'd be a waste on you." I suppressed my anger and forced a smile. "Oh, high-quality items like these can only be worn by beauties like you, sister-in-law." Clara was slightly surprised by my sudden docility, and she adopted a condescending air. "Emily, tell me, will that stalker CEO like them?" I continued to flatter her. "These outfits suit you perfectly. Wearing them will definitely make the CEO fall head over heels for you." Clara smiled smugly, glanced at me twice, then casually tossed a bag my way. "Take these. Consider it your chance to serve the future lady of a prominent family. Don't mess them up. If you dare tell your brother, you're dead meat." I complied, carrying the pile of clothes back to my room, rolling my eyes inwardly. "Serve that witch? I'll see how long you can keep dancing." I sprayed the clothes a few times with dry spray and hung them on the balcony. Just then, my brother called. "Little sister, are you having any difficulties lately?" I was confused. "No, why do you ask?" My brother hesitated for a moment, then said, "Your sister-in-law told me you've been having difficulties these past few days, so you took my salary card to spend. I don't mind the money, I just don't want you to go down the wrong path." Immediately after, I received several photos my brother sent to my phone, all pictures of the revealing clothes Clara had bought. "If you're having any difficulties, tell me, little sister. As a girl, you must have self-respect and love yourself." At that moment, I immediately understood. Clara was afraid my brother would discover her true intentions, so she blamed all her spending on me, trying to give me a bad name. I was so angry I trembled. That damn woman, she's the one who's loose and vulgar. I told my brother everything about Clara. After hearing it, he was so furious he couldn't control himself. He cursed, "That Clara Liu, is she trying to cuckold me? I need to have a serious talk with her." My brother was about to hang up, but I quickly stopped him. "Don't go, brother. If you go, my whole plan will be ruined." My brother froze. "What plan? Do you trust me or not? Just tell me." I recounted everything from my previous life to him. Halfway through, I couldn't hold back anymore. Tears of injustice and hatred streamed down my face. My brother remained silent for a long time after hearing it. "Little sister, I support you." He immediately transferred a large sum of money to me to execute my revenge plan. The next day, I followed Clara out, intentionally taking some candid photos of her wearing revealing clothes. Doesn't she like being harassed? Then I'll make sure she enjoys it until she's addicted. I wrote Clara's phone number on the photos and posted them on several dark websites. Less than half a day later, Clara stormed home in a rage. As soon as she walked in, her phone rang. On the other end was a lewd male voice. "Hey pretty, wanna hang out with me this afternoon?" Clara's face flushed crimson with anger. "Get lost, you ill-bred dog." The man chuckled. "This little lady has quite a temper. I'll pay you to enjoy yourself and fall." Clara went ballistic. "Ah, get out, die, you rotten cucumber. If you call me again, I'll report you to the police." As soon as the man heard, "police," he changed his tone and swore. "You cheap slut, what are you pretending for? Ah!" Without waiting for Clara to curse him back, he hung up. Clara plopped down on the sofa. Before she could catch her breath, her phone started ringing incessantly. All were dirty proposition calls, treating her like a streetwalker. "Get lost, all you disgusting men. Sooner or later, you'll all get sick." Clara's eyes were bloodshot with fury. She gripped her phone and smashed it hard on the floor. "You bastards, who did this to me?" Watching Clara go wild, the corner of my mouth curled into a subtle, pleased smile. Her eyes darted over, saw me smiling, and she immediately turned to me furious. "You're laughing at me, aren't you? I know you did this. You ugly hag, you can't find a man, so you're jealous of me. You want to ruin things between me and my destined soulmate. You despicable bitch." As she spoke, she raised her hand to slap me. I immediately grabbed her hand, retaliating with a powerful slap of my own. I used all my strength, sending her tumbling to the ground, blood oozing from the corner of her mouth. I looked at her with disdain. "Keep your dog claws away from me. Don't make me sick." Clara's eyes widened in disbelief, unable to believe that a timid person like me would dare to strike back. She shrieked and lunged at me, wanting to beat me. "Emily Shen, I'm going to beat you to death today." I grabbed her hair and yanked hard, making tears stream from her eyes in pain. I dragged her in front of the mirror, kicked her knee violently, forcing her to her knees. Even so, her mouth still screamed, "What do you want to do? You scoundrel, you're trash." Slap, I slapped her across the face again. Still barking, "Bark once more, and I'll give you another slap." Seeing the red handprint on her face, I felt an indescribable satisfaction. She dared not speak again, only gritting her teeth and looking at me with bitter hatred. I grabbed her chin, forcing her to look in the mirror. "Who's the ugly one, huh? You look worse than a cockroach. You think I'm jealous of you. What do you have for me to be jealous of? You're a brainless idiot. You leech off my brother's money while secretly seducing other men, a real traitor." Clara went mad, raising her hand to scratch my face. I pressed her head down, slamming it to the ground, forcing her to bow 3 times before the mirror. Thump, 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 this is what you owe me. Emily Shen, I'm your sister-in-law. How dare you treat me like this? I gave a cold, sneering laugh. What are you to think you can use my brother to push me around? I pulled Clara's head down, forcing 3 more blows. She clutched her head and collapsed to the ground, too breathless to scream. I spat at her, then hoisted my pre-packed suitcase, turned, and left the house. Behind me, Clara's frantic screams echoed. Emily Shen, just you wait. I won't let you get away with this. I laughed coldly. Don't worry, I won't let you get away with anything either. That day, I moved into my university dorm, carefully locking my room at home. I no longer had to worry about being defiled by that disgusting stalker. In my previous life, Clara, with her pig-headed brain, thought for days before coming up with the idea of leaving the spare key on the milk carton. She eagerly awaited the stalker CEO to come to her room and do dirty things. I was both worried and furious, preventing her from placing the key. What you're doing is too dangerous. You're practically handing your life over to someone. But Clara thought I was ruining her good thing. She pushed me to the ground and yelled, "What do you know, you bitch? If you stop me from getting a rich man, I'll strip you bare." During those days, I dared not stay home. Every time I returned, I checked every nook and cranny before I could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Even with the door locked while I slept, my nerves were stretched taut like a violin string. I almost had a nervous breakdown. In this life, if my sister-in-law was so eager, I naturally had to lend a hand. I posted a video on my social media circle, demonstrating why one shouldn't leave keys on milk cartons, hoping Clara would see it. Sure enough, the next morning, through the surveillance camera, I saw Clara carrying the spare key and walking out the door. I wondered how utterly devastated she would be when she discovered that the stalker CEO she'd always dreamed of was a bald, smelly pervert. Thinking about this, my mood was so good that I slept in. Not even a few days later, I saw the pervert's figure through the camera. He was on Clara's bed, doing disgusting things. Clara's underwear was strewn all over the bed, and he held one in his hand. Seeing him, memories of my past life flooded back like a tidal wave. I trembled all over, as if dragged back to that dark, damp basement, my neck chafed and bleeding from a heavy iron chain, my body covered in bruises, the pain piercing to the bone. The dark, lightless basement magnified my fear infinitely. Just smelling that foul stench, I knew the monster was coming. He treated me as a tool to satisfy his twisted desires, using his fists and various objects to break my bones, forcing me to crawl like a dog and eat scraps. Until my death, I never saw sunlight again. It wasn't until my fingernails dug deep into my flesh that I finally woke up. Calming myself, I grabbed a fake key and headed home. My sister-in-law hoped her stalker CEO was wealthy, so I couldn't possibly let her down. I entered Clara's room. The bed was still warm, the air filled with foul smells, sweat, and other strange odors. I forced down the nausea, transforming into a diligent Cinderella, meticulously tidying the room. I pretended to be the stalker, leaving an ambiguous note, placing the used underwear into a luxurious gift box I'd brought, and intentionally leaving a fake designer watch. Finally, I sprayed high-end perfume to mask the scent. That night, Clara boasted in her "Stalker CEO Loves Me" group. "Ah, girls, my destined soulmate is so romantic I could die. He left me a note saying I'm his fragrant princess he loves the most. He must love me so deeply to do that with my underwear. From now on, I'll sleep hugging this underwear. The perfume is so captivating, he must have exquisite taste." She wore the watch, took a photo, and posted it in the group. Definitely a rich, handsome man, a Patek Philippe watch. The token of his affection he left for me. The idiots in the group went wild. "Girls, you're so lucky. I can't even imagine how handsome he is. You absolutely have to catch him." I laughed until my stomach hurt. Suddenly, Clara sent a flurry of 60-second voice messages, her voice full of resentment. "You think you've bullied me before? Now I'm about to become a rich man's wife. Just wait until you die at my feet. Emily Shen, your good days are over. I won't let you off the hook." I had no energy to argue with a pig. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but didn't block her completely. I still needed to see how she'd dig her own grave, but I didn't expect Clara to strike first. That evening, she called, telling me a package had been delivered to my house and to go pick it up. I didn't suspect anything and immediately went. But on my way back, I constantly felt like I was being followed. I looked back, but saw no one. The feeling clung to me all the way to the staircase. Going up the stairs, I quickly hid in a blind spot. When footsteps approached, as soon as his head peeked out, I immediately sprayed him in the eyes with pepper spray and delivered a powerful kick to his groin. A painful scream rang out. It was the perverted stalker. I understood then that this was a trap set by my sister-in-law. I stormed straight into the house and slapped Clara twice when I saw her watching TV. "Clara Liu, were those last slaps too light? You dare to set a trap for me? Today, I'll make you remember this for life." Ignoring her screams, I dragged her straight into the toilet. I grabbed the toilet brush, swirled it around in the long uncleaned bowl, then shoved it straight into her mouth. "Your mouth smells worse than a toilet bowl. I'll help you clean it thoroughly." Clara, terrified, tried to dodge, but I held her tight. She could only emit whimpering sounds. I threw the brush at her. "Clara Liu, you piece of trash. If you dare provoke me again, don't blame me for being vicious." She choked on her tears, snot and tears streaming down her face, only able to lie there, clutching her stomach and dry heaving. I searched for her phone, unlocked it using facial recognition, and saw a message she'd sent to the stalker, telling him to kill me. I immediately screenshotted it and sent it to myself and my brother. I threw the phone to the ground, growling, "I have all the evidence. Your message hiring someone to harm me and videos of you setting me up and being stalked. Divorce and leave with nothing or go to jail, you choose." After saying this, I left the house, not giving Clara a chance to react. As expected, Clara naturally refused to agree to a divorce. She didn't want to let go of her free money tree so soon. Moreover, she had contributed to renovating the house, so she wouldn't easily leave empty-handed. The next day, Clara stormed straight to my university gate, calling me repeatedly, trying to force me to come out. Annoyed and tired of her harassment, I decided to go see what other tricks she had up her sleeve. As soon as I stepped out of the school gate, Clara approached me with feigned concern, trying to grab my arm, as if completely forgetting the events of the past few days. I took a step back. "Don't touch me with your dirty hands. If you have something to say, just say it." Clara maintained her hypocritical demeanor. "Emily, I was wrong those past few days. I apologize to you. After all, we're family. Please don't let your brother and I get a divorce, okay?" I scoffed. "Clara Liu, didn't you tell me to just wait? So now that you hear my brother talking about divorce, you're bowing your head and apologizing." Clara clasped her hands together and pleaded, "Emily, I can't bear to leave your brother. He loves you the most. Please help me plead with him, okay? I'll treat you to bubble tea." I looked at her anxious face and couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. "You can't bear to leave my brother? Or are you just regretting the money you spent on renovating the house and don't want to leave empty-handed?" When I exposed her, Clara's smile became even more strained. "Emily, don't say that. I'm just thinking about your brother. He's getting older and it'll be hard for him to find someone else if he divorces. Think carefully." I truly couldn't understand where she got the audacity to say such things. "Clara Liu, do you have no shame? Do I need to list out all those dirty things you did?" At this point, she dropped her pretense, glared, and snapped, "You're just a nobody. I'm humbling myself to plead with you, so don't be ungrateful. Even if I divorce your brother, don't you dare dream of getting any benefit." I laughed coldly and stepped closer. Perhaps because I'd put her in her place twice before, she started backing away, trying to appear calm. I opened my phone and showed her the screen. It was the video clip of Clara and her lover sneaking around in the room. The sounds were utterly unlistenable. Clara's face turned ashen, and she immediately lunged to snatch my phone. "You bitch, you dared to install cameras." I quickly dodged. She missed, stumbled, and fell to the ground. I sneered, "If you don't want people to know, don't do it. Using my brother's money to cavort with a repulsive, disgusting third party." She lay sprawled on the ground, eyes bloodshot. "Emily Shen, you're just like your brother, both petty individuals. You installing cameras to spy on me is an invasion of privacy. I'll sue you." I couldn't help but burst into laughter. "Clara Liu, is your brain made of tofu? I installed cameras in my asterisk house and my brother's asterisk house. What privacy are you talking about invading? And as for you committing adultery in your marriage, we'll definitely win if we sue you." She was so choked with anger that she could only slump to the ground, gasping for breath. "Clara Liu, sign the divorce papers obediently and leave empty-handed. Otherwise, my brother will sue you in court to get back every penny you spent on your lover. With your sales clerk salary, how many years would it take to repay that? I can also tell everything to that stalker CEO you're dreaming about. Do you think you'll still be able to become a rich man's wife then? After saying this, I didn't even bother looking at her reaction and returned to school. Less than 2 days later, I received good news from my brother. Clara Liu agreed to divorce, leaving with nothing. She even loudly declared that she didn't care about my brothers, paltry, money, and would soon marry a wealthy tycoon, at which point we would be unable to even look up at her. But before she could become a rich man's wife, something happened to her. That weekend, my brother sent me a very generous living allowance, telling me not to be thrifty. I immediately invited my best friends to go shopping. We hadn't gone far when we heard a quarrel ahead. One of the two women was Clara Liu. What bad luck, running into that disgusting woman again. Another girl was angry. I reserved that bag. Why are you telling me to give it up? Clara rolled her eyes. If I like it, it's mine. I advise you not to argue. Arguing with me will only harm yourself. As she spoke, she reached out to snatch the bag from the girl's hand. The sales associate quickly intervened. Ms. Liu, this young lady reserved this bag half a month ago and has already paid a deposit. You can look at other styles, or I can help you order an identical one. Clara waved the employee's hand away. Step aside. Let me tell you, I will get this bag today. If you don't sell it to me, I'll sue this entire store. The employee had to suppress her anger. Her face was pale and she dared not speak again. The other girl, tired of reasoning, took out her card to pay. Clara immediately lunged forward and snatched the bank card. She pointed a finger at the girl's face and cursed. How old are you to have money to buy a bag? Clearly, you're with an old man. So shameful. The girl couldn't take it any more and retorted. Watch your mouth. You're being unreasonable and arrogant, just like an uneducated market woman. Clara was furious. Without another word, she slapped the girl across the face. You bastard, how dare you curse at me? Today I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your parents. She raised her hand to strike again, but the girl firmly grabbed her wrist, pushed her away powerfully, and pulled out her phone to call the police. In less than 5 minutes, the police arrived. Even seeing the police, Clara refused to tone down her arrogance, loudly threatening them. Do you know who I am? Dare to offend me, and you might not live to see another day. A police officer barked, knowing who you are is useless. You're disturbing public order and assaulting someone. Now, come with us to the station for administrative detention. Hearing the words, administrative detention, Clara finally fell silent, her face reluctant. The police clarified the situation and advised a private settlement. Clara didn't want to go to a detention center, so she reluctantly agreed. The other girl also didn't want to get further involved, saying, I've had enough bad luck. I don't even want the bag anymore. You compensate me for the deposit, plus damages for assault, a total of 10,000 yuan. Clara scoffed, Is that all? I'll pay you as charity. I was surprised, wondering where she got so much money when I saw her call her stalker CEO. Not long after, the perverted stalker frantically rushed over and handed her a card. Clara glanced at him disdainfully, wrapped the card in tissue paper before taking it. My precious darling, why did you send this kind of person to bring me money? It's utterly disgusting. I wonder how filthy this card you gave me is. The other girl took the card and shot Clara a contemptuous look. You're the one who lives off old men. What unique taste. After saying that, the girl turned and walked away. Clara gnashed her teeth in anger. Seeing the stalker still standing there, she pushed him away. Aren't you going to get lost? Standing here makes me nauseous. Be careful, I'll tell my precious darling to fire you. The stalker's eyes were filled with disappointment, but he said nothing, only silently walking away. As soon as he left, her phone chimed with a voice message. Darling, did you get the money? Clara immediately replied coquettishly. Thank you, darling, I got it. But next time, can you send someone else? This person today was so smelly and ugly too. A moment later, the other party replied. Will you always love me? She messaged back. Of course, I love you the most. As soon as she finished typing, her eyes met mine. She raised her phone, shook it, and gave me a scornful smile. I turned and walked away, my mood utterly delighted. She had no idea that the stalker was an extremely obsessive and psychologically twisted individual. He hated being criticized and found disgusting, yet he desperately craved recognition from others. Ironically, Clara gave him both of those emotions. I'm afraid her fate in this life will be even more tragic than mine was before. Finally, it was almost time for university enrollment. I was tidying up my dorm when I received a message from a classmate. Hurry to my part-time job, your evil sister-in-law is in trouble. How could I miss such a drama? I rushed straight to the clothing store where my friend worked. From afar, I saw my friend grinning ear to ear. When she saw me, she pulled me into the front row to eat melon, enjoy the gossip. I told you, your sister-in-law deserved it. At that moment, Clara Liu was dressed haphazardly, pointing and yelling at a man. It was the stalker. Her face was flushed crimson with anger. Have you looked in a mirror? You look like a monster, daring to go out and scare people. Disgusting. And you dare to threaten me? Why don't you just die? Several sales associates who had long disliked her whispered. So, all this time she was shouting about marrying a rich man, and she ended up sleeping with this asterisk type? They really are a match made in hell? Clara Liu's face alternated between red and white with rage, making her shout even louder. The stalker, head bowed, said nothing, only fiddling with some adult toys in his hands. When she finally tired herself out, he slowly spoke. Darling, didn't you say you loved me the most? My friend also burst out laughing. So, all this time you were dressing suggestively to lure him. Clara Liu, your taste is really something else. Clara went berserk, screaming hysterically as if she'd lost her mind. Ah, all of you want to see me humiliated. None of you want to see me live well. Sooner or later, I'll kill all of you. My classmate scoffed. Oh, just looking at her, you know she can't do anything to anyone. How could Clara endure such ridicule? She immediately lunged at the stalker, punching and kicking him wildly. You pervert, Dai, why did you ruin me? What the hell do I love you for? Are you crazy? The stalker was pushed to the ground but didn't resist, only silently staring at Clara Liu. His eyes gradually shifted from disappointment to madness. This kind of deranged and twisted gaze was hauntingly familiar to me. In the basement of my previous life, those very eyes had been fixed on me until my dying breath. They watched me writhe, demanded I say I loved him, and gazed at my battered body. But in this life, everything would be repaid on Clara Liu. Clara also noticed the stalker's eyes on her and immediately slapped him. What are you looking at? Doing such a thing, you're trash, you should be executed. She seemed to suddenly remember something, quickly pulled out her phone. I'm calling the police. As soon as the stalker heard, calling the police, he stood up, gave Clara a profound look, and whispered, Darling, I'll make you stay with me forever. Then, he immediately pushed through the crowd and fled into the darkness. Seeing that the show was over, the crowd gradually dispersed, leaving Clara Liu alone, screaming hysterically. That night, I received a message from Clara Liu. Emily, I was wrong before. I want to apologize to you, okay? Otherwise, I'll feel so guilty. Meet me at Chengtu Alley tomorrow at 9:00 p.m. I'll wait for you there, you must come. It was exactly like the message from my previous life. In my past life, I was too naive and believed her deceptive words, going to the meeting place only to die tragically. But in this life, I wanted to witness her despair firsthand. I replied to the message, Okay, I'll come. I informed my brother about the meeting. He insisted on coming with me to protect me. The next evening, my brother and I, disguised with masks and hats, arrived near the alley on time. Less than a few minutes later, Clara Liu also appeared, standing at the mouth of the alley looking around. Seeing no one, she called me. I answered, feigning shyness. Sister Clara, I'm so sorry, I can't make it today. My brother had an emergency, and I'm going to him now. Before she could open her mouth to curse, I hung up. Clara Liu angrily cursed a few words, hesitated at the alley entrance for a moment, then finally gritted her teeth and stepped into the dark alley. This time, without me as a scapegoat, even if she grew wings, she wouldn't escape. Less than 10 minutes later, from deep within the alley came a woman's scream and hurried footsteps. But how could Clara Liu fight against that deranged stalker? She quickly lost her strength to resist. My brother and I stood opposite the alley and clearly saw Clara Liu being dragged away, her mouth covered, hair disheveled, clothes askew, one shoe lost. She was pulled towards a van parked on the side of the road. The heavy stone in my heart finally settled. The gentle night breeze carried the scent of green grass, making me feel a tranquility I had never known. All the past pain vanished with the wind. My brother and I returned to our peaceful lives. It wasn't until a week later in the social news section that I saw Clara Liu's name again. She was dead. It turned out her boss noticed she had been absent from work for many days, calls went unanswered, and no one knew where she was. Feeling something was amiss, he reported it to the police. When the police found her, she was dead in the basement, even more tragically than my death in the previous life. Her eyes and mouth were sewn shut, her limbs twisted at unimaginable angles, her entire body bruised and putrefying. The stalker was also arrested and sentenced to death. From then on, no one could disturb my life anymore. I no longer had anything to worry about. From now on, my life is my own. But in this life, I wouldn't give her a chance to fabricate lies. Based on my memories from the previous life, I found the stalker novel she loved. The next morning, when I saw my sister-in-law wake up, I intentionally left my phone on so she could see it as she sat at the dining table.